Hey there, welcome to Calling the Higher Self, the podcast that helps you ultimately be your best self. I'm your host, the Imaginary Goddess, and I'm a light worker, here to guide you and everybody else toward deep healing and self-discovery. I'm going to show you lovely ways to call up your higher self and let them know that it's time to get this show on the road. So how is this going to work? Is each topic or lesson will be categorized into seasons and spread out through episodes. Twice a week, I'll come at you with an affirmation episode full of motivation and a standard episode full of guidance. At the end of each episode, I'll give you guys a voicemail, which you can think of as like a prompt or a challenge for yourself that I designed to encourage your own personal growth. Sounds amazing, right? All right, babies. Be sure to sign up for your profile on the Imaginary Goddess to gain exclusive access to free natal chart and oracle readings, early access, resources, voting power, and much more. All right. What is the higher self? For those of you that don't know, the higher self is, in its simple terms, the version of yourself without all of that outside pollution. By pollution, I mean the negative influence you take in from the world around you simply because you just don't know better. You might be thinking, I'm grown as fuck, goddess, what are you talking about? Well, unless you're a super big brain Jimmy Neutron genius, there will always be things that you don't know. I don't care who you are, there will always be a moment in which you make a decision simply because you didn't know better. You didn't know something critical for you to make an effective decision and move forward, whether it be life-changing decisions, choosing between restaurants, or choosing the right door when you're going to the bathroom in a foreign country. I don't know. If you don't know that much about what you're up against, then you'll never move past it. That is why I created this podcast, to help everyone who's interested in getting to know themselves and gain that courage to break through those personal barriers. I guarantee you that you're totally worth getting to know. Anyway, to some, the higher self is you authentically, or the embodiment of your soul. To others, it's similar to the Holy Spirit. Now, how will all of this work to improve my mental health? Well, here's the gist. You create your own reality. We all know this. Your mental health is a reflection of your reality. Remember that. And if you don't like how your reality is, chances are your mental health is going to reflect that. Like, if you're in a bad environment, then you will most likely have bad mental health. And by putting in the effort, you're taking control of yourself, your life, which is absolutely crucial. Lack of control equals lack of self, or lack of happiness, lack of fulfillment, lack of knowing. And the lack of knowing brings on feelings of being lost without purpose. If you're someone who would love to gain insight into their soul's purpose, that is something you will learn inevitably on your journey to the higher self. You can also find the answer from a reading from yours truly. Wink, wink, nudge, nudge. Another reason is you are the only thing you can truly control in this world. So why not take that control and make your life into the best one for you? You know why? Because you matter. You matter. And it's okay to reinvent yourself. It might be scary, it might be foreign, but that's okay. It's worth it. Here's the math. The universe will only give you access to things that are already within you. That's how manifestation works. Raise your vibrations. Allow yourself to be open. If you get put in a situation you did not want, it's because it's what you reflect. And that's the universe putting you through a test to see if you are ready to move on. But you can't move on unless you do your shadow work, your higher self work. Higher self work is something I kind of made up. It's shadow work plus telling yourself how awesome you are, basically. It's more than just confronting your shadows. It's also confronting how great you are, because no, I know for a fact a lot of people don't know how great they are. It's kind of almost impossible to see. But if you start somewhere, if you start asking yourself all these questions, if you start telling yourself beautiful things and compliments, then you'll start to see it. That's higher self-work. If you don't know how you reflect on the world, look at your rising sign. If you don't know what a rising sign is, it's the sign that was coming over the horizon as you were born. So, for example, I'm an Aquarius sun. That's my zodiac sign. But my rising sign is in Aries because that's what was coming over the horizon while I was born. And your rising sign is how you are perceived in the world, you know? It's basically your mask, how you reflect onto others. That would be a great place to start if you don't know where to start. Think about how you reflect on others. You can find your rising sign on your chart, your birth chart. Working towards the higher self means digging deep into that subconscious of yours and cleaning out all out those nasty gunk. If you're content with your life, you'll never have, in my opinion, the motivation to grow. You just have to remember that it's okay to be uncomfortable. I should probably tell you how to do higher self work. Okay, so higher self work, the focus of it is asking yourself these main 3 questions. Who was I? Who am I now? And who will I be, or who do I want to be? These questions are meant to get you to think, get you to acknowledge who you are, and meant to cleanse what you don't want. You are meant to acknowledge who you are, coming into an understanding of that. When you understand that, that gives you the momentum to move forward into deeper work, deeper thinking, deeper understanding. Think of shadow work, but it's about how great you are, how great you were, how great you will be, because you might think you're not this great person now, you never were this great person, you never will be, but that's because you never have seen how great you were like other people have. And it's okay to ask other people how great they think you were, but in my opinion, I wouldn't even take compliments personally, because if I rely on other people's compliments to make me feel good, then I won't ever let myself make myself feel good, if you understand. So if you want something a little deeper, you can ask yourself, what can I do to improve myself? What should I do to move forward? What is stopping me right now? What do I think is helping me but is actually preventing me from moving forward? And the best way to really do your shadow work or your higher self work is write it all down. If you do that, then you can go back and read it, and you can also analyze it and track your progress too. It'll make you feel good about yourself, really. There are 5 things you should remember when on your journey to reaching your higher self. Number one, I would say, is be authentic. There's no use in faking for anything because it'll just hinder you in the long run and just throw you off course. And number two, have fun. If you're not having fun, then what's the point? It's just more work, you know? Stand in your power. That's number three. If you don't stand in your power, you'll never get the most out of it. And I'm not saying to pressure yourself into trying your best, because the best is different for everybody. Everybody has their own set of skills. Do whatever makes you comfortable while working your hardest. Number four, I would say, is love yourself. Be kind to yourself, because if you don't treat yourself with kindness, then you will never believe all this work that you're doing is working. Trust me on that one. Number five, help others. I say help others because, number one, it would build character, honestly, and it would make you feel good all around. If you know, you know. By taking the steps, the journey towards being your higher self, your best self, you're setting yourself up for happiness. You're setting yourself up for abundance. You're setting yourself up for change, for growth, for a glow up. And most importantly, you're doing it for yourself. Don't you ever wish for a better life, a happier life? I know I do, but this shit is hard. Anyhow, but it's working. I promise you, it's working. Shadow work. Now, I want to give a shout out to cutie.beanxx on Instagram, who asked me, how did I know I was a light worker? Because she also says that she believes she is one. So I love that for you, first of all, because I love being a light worker. I'm actually starting this podcast is one of the first steps to me starting my journey as a light worker. I didn't realize I was a light worker. Actually, I always knew I was a light worker, but I didn't know there was an actual term for it. So I found out there was a term for it through a tarot reading, actually. I watched a tarot reading on YouTube from the channel Chloe Taylor. She basically made me realize that I was a light worker. I did not know. I did not know all these terms. I didn't know what starseed was. I didn't know what light worker was, but I knew that I was one. And for those of you that don't know, a light worker is somebody who basically helps you guide you on your spiritual journey, basically put you on, guide you, be your help, and all of that. And that's what I am. That's what I always felt I was. And now that I am owning that title fully, this podcast is actually really helping me out, because honestly, this is so fun. I'm enjoying the shit out of this right now. So if you don't know that you're a light worker, honestly, you can see it in your chart. You can find out through a tarot reading too. You can feel it. That's how I knew. I just felt it with my soul. And I've always had a deep passion for helping others become their best self. And that's why I started this podcast, because not only did starting this podcast bring me closer to my life path, but also my reaching my true potential as a light worker. And I really hope to go far with this, and I really hope me answering this question really helped you out, Cutie Bean. As a disclaimer, I really wouldn't think of me as somebody to really, not like a spiritual guru. I wouldn't think of me like that. I wouldn't think of me as a teacher. I would just think of me as somebody you would come to as for advice. You know, say you don't know where to go next on your spiritual journey. I got you with these tarot readings, these oracle readings. I got you. I can read your birth chart. Like I said at the beginning of this episode, those who sign up on my account get free readings. I'm just saying. But let me put you on. That's why I'm here. And you have to want to first. I mean, that is how it is. Anyway, that does it for this episode. For updates and more content, go ahead and follow me on Instagram at The Realist Idealist. That's THAREALISTIDALIST. And check out theimaginarygoddess.com. And remember that my work won't work if you don't work. All right, stay grounded.